Hello, my name is Curtis. I am the primary dev for R14 development. And today we're going to be taking a look at a script that I'm excited to show you, and that is R14 Evidence, which is getting ready to release. So, R14 Evidence is intended to be a replacement for the Evidence Lua in your QB-policejob. It is a fully fleshed out functional evidence system for your police force in a city running QBCore framework. And I'm showing it here today, running in a live situation, a server with other resources running alongside NVE, a visual modification, which is kind of the reason for my low frame rates here. Let's go ahead and take a look at evidence. So, we're going to take a look in our pockets, and we have some evidence bags here. So you're going to see a few new things here. So you're going to have your standard caliber, and this is a little more accurate than standard. This is fully configurable in your QBCore shared weapons Lua, or if you're running an older version, your shared Lua weapons table. We also have our serial number, the crime scene, and our new additions, our tracking ID, which is a unique identifier for evidence in the city, and time and date of collections. You can see here that this evidence was collected on 5/25 at about 8:03 p.m. or about roughly an hour ago. We have our standard evidence, we have casings, we have fingerprints, we have blood samples, and we have a few new ones. We also have DNA from standard QBCore. We also have our positive GSR test here, which is our basically new type of evidence, and it is simply a GSR field test that shows positive. It doesn't show anything else. It doesn't show who it was conducted on. It is up to your police officers to use that in court how they may. So speaking of a positive GSR field test, let's move on to our first new addition. So police actions have all been converted to QB target. I don't have another player here, but you would simply use your QB target to target a player, and if you have the specific items, you will get a prompt to conduct a police action. So right now we have a breathalyzer. We also have our GSR field kit test. We also have our a test kit. So we have our GSR field test kit, our DNA field swab kit. These allow us to QB target or use QB target to conduct our police actions. We also have the ability to investigate people, and we have the ability to frisk people for weapons. So how does this work? So we can see here we can self-frisk. This simulates how it would be conducted. So what you'll see here is our ped will enter into basically frisk mode. We'll get a notification that we are being frisked as the target of this frisk here. So you can see we get a notification that 4 is attempting to frisk you, and our ped now performs a Terry frisk. It takes about 5 seconds, and we see a notification that I detect something that might be a weapon, which is understandable when we are carrying an AR-15 on our back. This uses your item type from your QBCore items Lua, or if you're running an older version, your QB shared Lua items table. Also have self-investigate. I can spell investigate right. This allows us to investigate person. Like in the standard QB-policejob, this gives us status effects such as gunpowder in our clothing. Smells like alcohol. Let's go ahead and drink some alcohol and redo that test, just to show that it is working. And we also get a chat message in the corner that gives us our player ID or our server ID. Go ahead and investigate person again. We get a notification. We don't get a notification on this one actually, because your police should be able to investigate people without alerting them that they're being investigated. But we do a little animation here. So we'll see that you notice 4 smells like alcohol, and if we use our server ID, we'll see that, you know, I am player 4 here. There we go. We can also self GSR test here. So we can perform a GSR in the field, and this is different from our gunpowder status effect actually. So we actually have the ability to have a GSR status effect. So go ahead and in our debug menu, disable viewing evidence, without the camera police job, and let's just fire off a few shots to get a GSR positive. Here we are. We are now GSR positive. It's one more time self GSR test, and this time we will get a positive GSR field test. We get a evidence bag. If we have an evidence bag, you can also do this without one, and it just simply doesn't record it, or it doesn't give you like an item saying that there was a positive test. And then we can also self-investigate here. And essentially this differentiates between simply noticing someone smells of gunpowder and an actual physical GSR test that we can use in court. So one gives you like reasonable suspicion, basically, the other gives you probable cause, and kind of gives a little more depth to your cop our peers roleplay. So our last one is our self DNA swab, and it does exactly like it does in standard QBCore police job, and gives us a DNA that we can record. A neat feature here with all these items that we can use them. That one is not usable right now because I forgot to add it. I switched the server main Lua and forgot to re-add it in. It is usable in the standard. So here we have our tracking ID, our serial number, and our caliber all copied very nicely into our clipboard for us to paste into a police report. So we also, in this this evidence script, have disconnect persistence. Evidence that is generated is retained as long as the server script continues to run. So when you accidentally get disconnected during a scene, you don't have to fly back in and ask another police RP if they are able to go collect evidence for you, because you will actually be able to see that evidence and pick it up. It loads the evidence when you fly in, and it works very nicely. I'm not going to show it just because it takes a while to, disconnect and then reconnect, and I want to go ahead and save the actual changes to how you see evidence until the end. But we're going to look at our new evidence type, or our new method of evidence collection, and that is our car evidence. So let's go ahead and get on our car here. I'm going to go ahead and admin car this, and we're going to pull out our pistol here, and I have it forced first person. We're going to go ahead and fire some shots. So we have our rampager. They're shooting, and we're going to do something that most evidence scripts don't allow you to do. And we are going to go ahead and save this car as ours. It is already ours, I already did that. And then we're going to park it. So we park our car, and our car is gone. Let's go ahead and restart our evidence script. And we will see that our evidence script is now restarted. And when we go and take this out and conduct an evidence sweep. So, how does this work? Basically, open up the car, kind of like in LSPDFR, and we are able to search the vehicle for evidence. Right now, we are going to see casings. Even though our script restarted. How is that? Database persistence thing. So by adding a column into our vehicle or table, whatever system we use, whatever vehicle script you're using, you are actually able to configure which table it uses, and then add a column for vehicle evidence that is saved and loaded basically when vehicle evidence is interacted with. And if you're using QBCore, you are actually able, it is the most optimized version, and you can change your script, make very easy edits. This entire thing is open source, and customize it to your specific vehicle garage script. But with QBCore is out of the box, it actually unloads evidence when the car is parked, and clears that out of our evidence table, which is a little more, it saves on resources basically, and also it's just nicer overall. And then when we take it out of our garage, the evidence is loaded. You don't have to run it with that. It will save and keep track of evidence without those events, but it simply adds to the the optimized performance of the script. So we can also use our a command here, head and bleed in the vehicle. So blood evidence with a modified event for QBCore. will actually drop in the vehicle now rather than just out of it if you're bleeding inside of a vehicle. And we will see that our blood is now in the seat. We can collect that, collect some casings, and, you know, make the case that, hey, that person drove this car around and he was arrested next to it, and we have casings to prove it. We don't have to go hunt down on random city streets bullet casings that flung out of the car. And there's actually a configurable chance of if it drops in the vehicle or not in your config. So by default, it's 70%. So 70% of casings will land inside the vehicle, and 30% of casings will drop onto the ground, basically. So that is vehicle evidence. Let's go ahead and teleport on. All right, change of plans. Too many feds. We're gonna go ahead and demonstrate the evidence system here. So let's go ahead.
Excuse me for what?
Take some shots. This ped. So we generate some evidence. Let's go ahead and use our bleed command here. Just go ahead and generate some blood evidence just for some variety here, and use our evidence camera. So this is our primary tool for gathering or documenting a crime scene. What we see here is we see bullet impacts, we see for networked peds, we see bullet wounds, we see our standard evidence pickups as well. So here we have casings. What we see here is our tracking ID, our unique identifier, that lets us basically quickly take a picture and see where in the crime scene that piece of evidence came from. If you don't collect it, you know, that's a different matter. That's up to RP rules in your city, but it allows kind of more in-depth. In a courtroom, you can say, hey, this bullet casing was found here on this location. You also see our bullet impact evidence. So now we record bullet impacts along with angle of impact information. So here we see what angle the bullet came in and where it landed, as well as the rough size of the impact. So here it's set up for very basic. You get pistol caliber, rifle caliber, various ammo types, basically, showing you what exactly landed here. We see blood evidence here, and we see what's basically networked entity information, which is a wound. So let's go ahead and disable our camera so that we can see the evidence without using it, and find another ped here to demonstrate this with. So a car. We can actually demonstrate this with a car. So let's go ahead and get a little closer here. But what we're going to see that this bullet go through the windshield, it's going to strike the ped, and it's going to generate wound. So this actually attaches to the ped's bone here and allows us to see where the ped was shot. It currently doesn't display angle of impact information because basically peds are squishy and flexible, and it doesn't neatly it's not as easy to generate angle of impact information. In the future, I'm hoping that we get that implemented, but it is just a matter of time right now. So we'll see our other network entity information, and that is vehicles. Of course that would happen, and we see here is some bullet impacts against the car. So let's go ahead and get in the car and move it. We'll see that our evidence stops strongly while we're in the car. That is so that you can't use your camera in the car, document a crime scene, but we'll see that that information has actually moved. So we'll see still relative to the car where the shots came from. We also see our casing. So go ahead and disable our debug mode and see what a crime scene looks like with a flashlight. So our standard crime scene here, we're going to see a bunch of little spheres indicating, like the camera, where our evidence pieces are, but we won't see the information that comes with it. So here we're going to go, and then we can see our current pickup when we're near it. If we move away from it, it goes back, and then if we go out of the camera, we are still, or out of the flashlight mode, we are able to still pick it up. We can see our bullet impacts here. and that is what an average crime scene would look like. So, on basically the list of changes here, there are a bunch of upcoming planned features. Drug testing, for one, is the one that I'm excited for. Actual more physical evidence, usable in court versus just an observation with the current QB-policejob system. Hopefully getting attached network ped impacts, showing angle of impact information, as well as some more stuff that I'm not going to talk about right now. But thank you for tuning in, and that is R14 evidence. Should be available very soon in early access for a discounted price, and then it will be going up for full release. Thank you.